Neonic Void Productions presents.
Hello, and welcome to Spookocalypse, where we talk all things spooky. My name is Housekeeper, and I'm joined by two other hosts, as we are missing one. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Zio. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm Bunyip, and I'm the reason Matt Sherman is missing.
Oh,
Oh,
what did you do?
do you need help?
No, I think Zio needs more help.
I was about to make a joke, but I'm not going to.
No, I was gonna be like, do you need help hiding the body?
I'm like, did you throw him off a cliff?
Stop!
How could you?
Gosh. Dude, that fucking meme. That meme makes me like yell every time I see it.
We miss you, Matt Sherman.
We miss you. Come back.
Come back so we can watch oh God. Pastor again.
You're like, nah, I'm good. We could stay. All right.
Or if there's like a spin-off called like Triceratops Cardinal.
I mean,
Triceracardinal.
there's gonna be a second one.
Pastor.
Right?
Yeah, there's gonna be a second one. Pastor. Werewolf Nun.
The werewolf. I can't wait. I can't wait.
What?
Oh, a werewolf nun. That'd be fucking
That's made up.
fantastic.
That's made up.
Let's make one. Let's make one.
Werewolf Nun. It'd be like the nuns from Hitman.
Yes. Oh my God.
Queens.
Oh, they posted the Kickstarter on the 6th of March. Yeah. March 6, 2023. There's a Kickstarter.
Okay. Oh, for number 2?
Yeah.
Work. All right. So, housekeeper, you know what to do.
Yeah. So before we get onto the movie, we have some housekeeping. If you like this podcast, make sure you follow and rate us on whatever site you listen to your podcast. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is at Spookocalypse. That's at SPOOKOCALYPSE. Share with your friends. New episodes get uploaded every Saturday, and links are down in the description for the podcasts that are part of the Neonic family. If you're here on YouTube, hi, hello, how are you? We have other videos, or should I say shows, on there. We have our D&D game. We have hopefully by then we have our book watchers. Oh my God, my dog is outside. Where we nerd about books, and we have Tea of the Gods, where we spill the tea on gods and pantheons and all the like. I can't wait for our next subjects, because that one has been one that I've been sitting on for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do spooky shit here. And mints are gonna be on the pillow.
And what's today's flavor of mint?
Oh gosh, what is today's flavor of mint? I'm trying to think of it's wet dog.
Wet dog. Ew.
It's wet dog flavor.
Ew. Okay. Wet dog it is.
Wet dog.
So today's movie we're talking about is chosen by the one and only housekeeper. What movie have you chosen?
I chose the 2004 action horror film Van Helsing.
A classic.
A classic. Shaped my childhood.
Basically, Cursed Straw, the movie.
I mean, you're not wrong. I watched this and I was just all like,
I was watching it too, and I'm like, oh my God, this is very similar to Cursed Straw, kind of.
as I was watching it, I was like, how am I going to implement this?
I fucking knew you were.
This is not a recorded game. This is a game that we meet in person and play. But I'm the DM of the game, and we're running Curse of Strahd. So, and man, this I'm gonna have to rewatch it, take some notes. You know what I mean?
God,
So
damn.
I'm all like, ooh, a whole castle filled with vampire spawn.
Stop.
I was like, what other way would you be able to get up to that tower? You know.
Cease and desist. So, this movie was done by Universal Studios, and it was directed by Steven Summers.
Summers. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And it stars the wonderful Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
And Kate Beckinsale.
Yes.
Oh my God, Kate. This movie, it's not the gay awakening. It's one of them. Actually, this is the bi awakening. This is one of the bi awakening films. In the same vein as like The Mummy and all those genre type films around that time. Oof.
You know what's funny? Is that Steven
What?
Summers directed the Mummy movies.
No, he didn't. You're lying.
I'm not lying.
You're fucking lying. Oh my God, he did.
I am not fucking lying.
Oh my God, he fucking did. Oh my God, so you're saying I owe this man everything for my bisexual awakening?
Yes.
Oh my fucking God, I owe this man my bisexual awakening. Oh my God, he did. Oh my God, he did all four of this. No, he was the executive producer for the Scorpion films. Never mind. But oh my God.
You've got some explaining to do.
What do you mean?
Because you're like, by awakening, like, what are you talking about?
Bisexual awakening. There's so many hot men and women in these movies.
Dude, for real. There really is.
Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale.
I was
Mommy?
mainly paying attention to Kate.
I mean, of course.
It's the curly hair and the flipping between what is supposed to be a Romanian accent and for some reason Spanish.
Oh, Kate Beckinsale. Oh, mommy.
Sorry, mommy.
And Hugh Jackman, daddy. Not sorry, daddy. So good. This film also stars. This film has a lot of people. Kate Beckinsale, Hugh Jackman, Richard
Roberg,
David Winham, fucking oh God,
Kevin O'Connor.
yeah.
Dude, honestly, like, I watched this movie maybe once or twice as a child, and then like forgot about it. And
How
then,
dare you?
No. To be fair, I went on to other vampire films, such as Interview with the Vampire, and Ultraviolet, and other vampire films. Like I said, I only watched it like twice as a child.
Wait, Ultraviolet is a vampire film?
Not Ultraviolet. Oh gosh, I forgot the fucking.
I mean, that's another gay ass movie, like drama. The drama with Mila Jovovich.
No, not Ultraviolet. Hold on. I also watched, let's see, Blade. I watched The Lost Boys. I watched 30 Days a Night, Queen of the Damned. I'm trying to figure out what the freaking Underworld.
Which stars Kate Beckinsale. She got that role obviously after this movie.
Yeah. So
this
like
movie paved the way for it.
Yeah. So, and then, I went on to watch like Lord of the Rings, and then I watched like 300. So imagine my surprise whenever I went back and watched this movie um with my now ex, and I saw him, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, wait a damn minute.
Oh, I saw this movie as a literal 2004. So I would have been 7th grade. I was a child. I was like 12 or 13, right?
Yeah. Like I watched it as a kid too, but then I didn't watch it for a very, very long time.
Oh, that's not the same story for me. I watched it a lot. I loved it. I count this as one of my bio awakenings, as well as the introduction. This movie precede my love of horror, because I had this conversation with what?
Same.
Like, I was talking to my mom about it, because we were talking to my boyfriend and my mom's like, how'd you start liking horror so much? And I'm like, because of fucking Van Helsing. Because you took your kids to see Van Helsing. Your kids. I was around somewhere between 11 and 12, maybe 13. And you took your kids to see a movie about vampires, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman. That's not a horror movie. Like, mother, mom, girl, that's Gothic horror, baby.
Well, it was PG-13. You were old enough to watch it.
Yes, but I mean,
sorry,
my brother wasn't.
Ooh.
My brother wasn't. He was like 9 or 10. But still, it's like, you took me to see a horror movie. But she hasn't considered this movie a horror film, and I'm like, mother. Just because
it's Gothic horror.
Horror
just because it doesn't scare you doesn't mean it's
exactly
not horror.
Exactly.
Gothic horror, and I'm like,
I mean,
I like this stuff.
I watched it. Oh wait, so you were. I was like 11 when I watched this movie. I'm 2 years younger than you. You said you watched
2000. Okay, 2004. I was 7th grade.
I was 10.
7th grade. I was
12.
Wait.
No, I'm sorry. I was 9 because this was a month before my birthday.
Going back in time.
So
I was 9
I
years
was a
old
toddler
when this movie came out.
All right, let me do some math
because
here.
it says May 7th, 2004 is the release date. If I was born in 1994, April 1994, that means that I would have been 9 years old when this movie came out. Ew.
I was 12.
Yeah, so that makes me.
I was 12 years old seeing this movie because I saw it opening weekend.
I did not see it opening weekend.
This was back in the time when movies were less than $5. Sunday matinee, first showing on Sundays. Great time, love it, miss it so well, so good. AMC, we miss you.
But yeah, like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it hooked me into like.
Yeah.
Again, this was my first vampire movie. This was my first werewolf movie.
Yeah.
This was like the introduction to the classics, which was Dracula, werewolf, and Frankenstein.
Yes.
So like, this was a lot of, I guess, our generation's introduction to horror, unless
horror in like a not so spooky kind of way.
Yeah, unless like their parents just let them watch fucking like Dawn of the Dead and shit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I also watched that movie, and it's one of my favorite movies.
Movies like this, Brothers Grimm, freaking The Mummy. I was much older, but Hansel and Gretel, the Witch Hunters, the last Witch Hunter. That's one of
my favorite movies.
I know. Eventually, we're going to do an episode on that one, especially. But all those movies are very much in the same genre, that they're like action fantasy films with like an ingredient of horror in it in some way, regardless. I'm not necessarily, because horror doesn't have to always be scary. If you didn't know, because I can tell you this: some of these, a good chunk of these movies that we talk about in here are not scary, but they're horror nonetheless.
They're camp.
This movie is camp. This movie has drama, drag. They serving cut. Like, it's just, I see where I get my sass. This movie is so, it gave me my sassafras.
I just watching this, I see why I'm so dramatic.
Because Dracula.
Like fucking Dracula, I have no heart. I was just all like,
the
chill, bro,
wives.
it's not that serious.
And the way he
Right?
moves
The way he
unnecessarily.
the dramatic. He loves he loves a dramatic moment with lightning flashing behind him.
I love that for him.
I love that for him. I love that. I wish I had that. I wish I
Oh
had
my
that.
god! You want to know what I just realized as well?
What?
This is the second movie that we have reviewed in the past month that's about Dracula.
First being
Well-
the invitation.
Yeah.
Yes, the invitation will be posted during the same same month as this one, because I think these 2 episodes are going to be posted in April. Actually, I don't think the invitation has been posted yet. Hold
No,
on, let me double
it
check.
hasn't. It hasn't.
Let me double check on that because orders got mixed around a little bit. Last of Us. We had to move our schedule because I overslept on the last day we did Last of Us. By the time this episode comes out, Last of Us will be already up, part 3. But that was on me. Yeah, the invitation is going to be released in April. Same with this episode. So yeah, same month. Yeah. So we are doing 2 movies on Dracula this month. Damn.
Come get your juice.
I mean, I ain't his wives,
His
dramatic,
wife.
full drag, full cunt. Like they were
I love
serving. They were serving, and I did not starve. They ate the crumb. They ate all the crumbs. Left no crumbs. I don't know what actresses they got or what the director must have been like. Okay, you all need to serve. Y'all need to serve. Y'all need to deliver
So
dramatic antics.
the wives were played by Elena Anaya, Josie Moran, and I'm trying to find the other one. Sylvia Coloca. Oh no.
What?
Robbie Coltrane, Coltrane, the guy who played as Hagrid, he played as Dr. Henry Jekyll.
Oh shit, he did.
Aww. He's literally been in my childhood since I was, oh my god. Because I watched this way before I watched the Harry Potter movies. Oh, Hagrid. Sweet man. Oh, I made myself sad.
Honestly, I know the director's not gay, but this film is like a gay man directed it.
It was for the gays.
It was for the gays. It was for the gays. Obviously, you don't have to be gay to love this movie. I'm not saying that, but like, this movie has everything in it. Drama. This is a gothic horror soap opera, and I love it. Everything's so dramatic. We're going in. Housekeepers won't get into it, but there's a kissing scene where she's like, "I have to kill Dracula," and Hugh Jackman's like, "Not by yourself," and then they kiss, and I'm just like, "God damn, am I watching a soap opera?" And I love it. I love it. God, make more movies like this. Campy films. Just give me more. I don't even care the CGI is bad. Just give me all of it.
I care immensely.
It adds to the camp.
Immensely.
So to get into this movie more, this movie was released May 7, 2004, of course. This movie's 2 hours and 11 minutes long. It's a long movie for a movie in this genre, surprisingly. The budget for this movie was 160 to 170 million. So a lot of money went into this film at the time. And it made 300.2 million. So it made its budget more than its budget. So it made a ton of money from it.
Deserved.
As deserved. Deserved. Let's see. What else? I think that's pretty much all the intro stuff or like the production stuff. Outside of how iconic it is, also there is a animated film that goes along with this. It's a prequel that explains the Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story. So there's an animated film that's a prequel to it that explains how Van Helsing came across Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. If you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you do.
The more you know.
The more you know. It's called. Let me see.
Oh, there was also a video game. Shut up.
There's also a comic book series too.
Has gameplay similar to Devil May Cry? No way.
The film is called Van Helsing: The London Assignment, and it's a 30-minute long animated episode of Van Helsing and his experience with Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So it's like a little prequel thing. And that was released at the same time as the film itself. So
interesting.
Not meditate. So housekeeper, take it away on this fantastic journey through Gothic horror soap opera.
Oh gosh, I love this movie. So it starts off in 1887 Transylvania, where Dr. Victor Frankenstein, aided by his assistant Igor, creates a monster. And of course you see the village try and take the castle, and that's when Dracula shows up, and they have a little chat, and he goes, "Oh no, I'm just gonna leave," and he goes I might as well just kill myself now, and he goes like, "Oh, okay, go ahead, like you're useless to me now, you did your purpose."
Oh,
and I was like, "Damn, Dracula."
It's
How
like
like
I
it
really need
is.
him.
I heard that and I was like, "Ooh."
Damn.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just need the monster, basically. So, Dracula, Dracula kills Dr. Frankenstein, because he refuses to go along with what he wants. And like he begs for like Igor's help, and Igor's like, "Ha ha ha, you're cool and you treated me nice, but Dracula pays me. He's my boss." And so he just watches as Frankenstein basically gets killed, and then an angry mob storms the castle, and the Frankenstein's monster like flees with Frankenstein's body, and to a windmill where the mob burns down the windmill, and assumingly killing the monster as well. Flash forward to a year later, we see the monster hunter that we know as Van Helsing go to Notre Dame and kill Dr. Jekyll after a little fight with Mr. Hyde. And this is whenever it's revealed that Helsing pursues the evil on behalf of the Holy Order, and which has protected mankind forever. And Helsing doesn't remember anything about who he was, where he's from before he was found crawling up the steps of a church, almost dead. And he hopes to earn pardon for sins that he has forgotten. And he prays for well, not prays, but he hopes for his memories to be regained so that he can remember exactly what happened. At the orders of Vatican City, Helsing has been told that he has to travel to Transylvania to destroy Dracula, and to protect Anna and Velkin. Valerius? Is that how you pronounce their last name? Valerius?
I think so, yes.
Cool. God. which is this, like, they're the last of this Romanian family. Shit, I'm getting old. I had to freaking make my freaking text bigger. Jesus Christ. I was
God.
like, oh, this is hurting my eyes squinting like this. I'm not even 30 yet, y'all. And so their ancestor of this Romanian family has vowed that his descendants would kill Dracula or they would spend an eternity in purgatory. So in Transylvania,
Dramatic.
I know they're like, we have to do this or we're going to stay stuck in purgatory until our family does it. And I'm like, damn, okay.
How about you just tell your? That's like basically you're telling your children's children. That's your job now. Good luck.
Hey, talk about generational trauma, right?
You're like,
Yeah,
you're
fuck-
not getting
fuck
into heaven until Dracula's dead.
It's like
He's like,
fuck
"We
you,
can't even
hoes,
find
and
him."
all. It's like fuck you, hoes, and your hopes and dreams. You gotta handle that now.
In that confessional booth scene where like they just open the separating grate and then Van Helsing's trying to leave and it's like, no, shuts the gate on them. You're like, what is this booth?
Yeah.
That you can't leave until all your sins are confessed, and then it just goes into the back room like, here's our secret lair. Like,
Dude, I freaking love that scene. I love seeing, I don't remember what his character's name is, but the squire,
friar?
this I thought he was a squire. Friar?
He's a friar.
He's supposed to
The
be a monk,
friar.
but he's not. He's a friar.
It's like, you
And
can't
so,
curse, you're a monk. Technically, I'm a friar.
damn it. I just like, dude, I love him. Like, I love how like nerdy this guy is. And like he's like, oh yeah, let me show you like all these cool new toys on how to like kill Dracula. And like he shows him like, yeah, like this can like is like whenever it's activated can burn as bright as like the fucking sun. And they're like, what do you use it for? He's like, I don't know yet. He's like, you don't know what it does? He goes, no, I know what it does. I just don't know what it's for yet. And then like there's like a liquid like
Nitroglycerin.
nitroglycerin and he like flicks it and it explodes. And honestly, that's like the one part that has stuck with me throughout the years is literally him flicking this nitroglycerin and him going, sorry. And then he looks directly at the camera and his eyes look like bug eyes because of the like
The spectacles.
the spectacles that he's wearing. And he just looks straight into the camera and he's like, sorry. That scene
I
pops
love
in.
it.
I love him. I love him so much.
And they had that Gatling gun. It's like, why can't I bring that with me? It's like, it's just too big, but here's an auto crossbow.
He
It's
goes,
like,
yeah. He goes
got
like,
all
yeah,
these
it's like
bolts.
gas operated and like here's like these cool metal stakes that go with it and ooh, toys. And so what the heck? Okay. So it switches to Transylvania where you see Velkin tied to a post in the middle of the woods or the forest, whichever one you want to view it as. I see it as the woods. And basically to lure a werewolf that is being controlled by Dracula. And it's him and the villagers all doing it, and then like Anna comes in and tried to help as well. And while they're fighting, Velkin falls into the deeper, like into the gorge, along with the river, or along with the werewolf. And as they fall, the werewolf manages to bite him in the process. Oh, it is a friar. His name is Carl. So Helsing and Carl show up at this village, and it's not a very warm welcome. Like
No, it's not.
They come walking in this village, and people are following very, very close behind him, when wielding pitchforks, axes, blunt weapons, anything that you could think of that could do any type of harm. And the Undertaker, like, is just like, oh, well, we don't like strangers, and like tried to like threaten him whenever Anna shows up and was like, oh, then, well, you're going to be unarmed and all this stuff. And he goes like, no, I'm not. And that's whenever Dracula's wives show up. Verona, Mariska, and Alira. And there's this whole fight that happens, and you get to see the glory that is the special effects in this movie.
Oh, I don't mind the special effects. I think it adds to the campiness. At the
No, I
time,
don't
they were
hate it,
good.
dude. No, oh hell yeah! I was like, whoa. As a kid, you think it's like the best freaking thing in the world. Seeing how far along CGI has come along, like it's aged, but it's still fucking great. Like it fits within that era of movies, like that 2000s type of action film.
Yeah.
So I'm not hating it whatsoever, but you see the wives fly around and you see them morph into like their more human looking forms.
Serving.
And oh my god, all those women, all of just just women,
Serving.
just women, man. They
They
were all
ate
just
no
so
crumbs.
every woman in that fucking movie was just gorgeous. During this fight, they do kill one of the werewolves, one of the brides, Mariska.
Mariska.
Yes. And they're like, "Oh, they killed a vampire! Ah, they only killed what was needed, and now they're gonna kill for revenge." And then Anna's like, "Oh, well, like he's the first person in like forever to kill a vampire, so I like this guy is owed a drink." And then it cuts to Dracula screaming out of his coffin, mourning the death of one of his brides, or
Or,
as mourning as he could get.
yeah.
He's more like, God damn it, my pawn is dead. Oh well.
And at first I was like, you know what? The vampire's not wrong. They only took what they needed. That's nothing wrong with that. And then Dracula turned around and went, oh, my devilish plan. I'm like, ooh, you know what? I retract that, sir.
And
I
aren't the
mean,
brides like hanging from the ceiling?
they
Yes.
are, and
Like
he
they're-
walks up a pillar.
Like they're standing, but
Yes.
standing upside down.
Yes.
I love that, dude. I loved that scene. And I still love that
So
scene.
good.
Like,
and he's
and,
like, I could just get another bride. And then one was like, have you no heart?
and he's just like, I am dead. I have no heart. I can't feel love or joy or sadness. And I'm all like, you're acting sad now, though.
And then one of them was like, wasn't it like she said, like, you should try it sometime, or you should feel something along those lines? Maybe you should try to feel some shit. And I was like, ooh.
I forgot what they said that made him so angry that he just fucking yelled at her. Like, he just like, and they're like, ah! And then he's like, don't be scared of me.
Basically, I think he said something along the lines of like, she was like, he's heartless. Try feeling something for once. Something along those lines is what she said. Is what the God, I can't think of her name. Oh God, which one was it?
It's just the cast of Hocus Pocus, but meaner.
Oh, Jesus
What?
Christ.
I mean, it's kind of what the brides
It's,
are. They have the same hair color.
Verona,
Uh,
the long-haired one, all black hair. I'm assuming she's the oldest of the three.
Probably.
She seems like she's like the head wife. That makes sense.
But you know what's weird is that he doesn't call them wives; he calls them daughters.
Yeah, that's weird.
And I was like, ugh.
That's a little weird. It's a little incestuous there, Dracula.
No, well, I mean, he did create them, so I
It's
understand
true.
that. But you don't call them
Yeah.
Don't call them daughters.
I
We're
will
not.
say though, the ginger, oh god, let me see her name. Alera,
Alira.
Alira. She is like, in my opinion, I think she's like the most vicious out of all of them, and I love it.
Oh,
Leave it to the ginger. Serving. No, not Lyra. That was it? Who was it? Let me look it up. I have to Google it. It was it Lyra? I think it was her. It might have been. Hold up. Yeah. That's Ginger Wayne. I was right. Serving the girls. They came.
And hold on. Blah 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 blah. I'm trying to find where it is. That night, Velkin visits Anna to warn her of Dracula's plans. But his he shows up as a werewolf, right? And then whenever the moon hides, he goes back into human form, warns Anna of his plans, of Dracula's plans, and then says like there's a cure, like he has a cure somewhere in the castle, and then turns back into the werewolf and escapes. And Van Helsing like kind of like tries to shoot at him, and Anna gets mad because um Helsing was shooting at him. This whole scene was so dramatic though, because she's like, "No, stop!" And then he's just like, "Why?" And he like grabs her by the throat and pins her up against the wall. And he's like, "You tell me why." And she goes like, "You wouldn't understand." And then like he like lets her go, and then like walks away, and then it's just like, "That's not your brother anymore. So you knew." He's like, "Of course I knew."
The dramatics. Love it.
And then she's like, "Before or after you shot at him?" "Before I knew." "And you still shot at him!"
I just love how dramatic they all are.
And I'm all like, work. It's so dramatic and I love it.
They're drama queens, and Dracula's a prima donna.
Prima donna. God, the whole like there were some scenes that made me think of uh Phantom of the Opera too. Um and so after the whole like fight, she's just like oh God, what did she say? She's like, "Don't you have any forgiveness?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I've had it a few times." And then like he just like walks away all angry.
Oh
But
no,
they
she says, don't you practice forgiveness? He's like, I asked for it a lot. And then he walks away.
yeah.
I was like, damn.
And I was like, okay. This is so dramatic. I love it. Helsing and Anna then pursue Velkin to Frankenstein's castle, and they stumble upon like Dracula's plan to duplicate Frankenstein's experiments to give life to thousands of his undead children. There's a lot that they skipped here. This and that they're gonna use on his brother Velkin as a conduit. During this like little debacle that they have, Dracula confronts Helsing, and he calls him an ancient rival, and he's like, "Yeah, I know who you are." And Helsing kind of blows it off as like, "Well, yeah, like if the church knows about you, then of course you would know who I am." And he goes, "No, no, no, no. We've known each other for a long time." And he goes, "You don't remember." And like psyching him out, basically. And during this talk is whenever like the spawns come to life, like Dracula, the vampire spawn come to life. And then they die. due to lacking of Frankenstein's original formula. Helsing and Anna escape, and they stumble into Frankenstein's monster at the windmill, and he reveals to them that he is the key to Frankenstein's machine to help Dracula give life to all of the vampire spawn. And during this conversation, Velkin was hiding in the shadows, to which he reveals himself as he's escaping out of the windmill. Oh, there was during this fight, there was like a fight that happened with the spawn, right? And they went and they attacked the village.
Yeah.
And during this fight, like Carl saves one of the village women, and like she kisses him, and she goes like, oh, if there's any way for me to repay you, and he kind of like has an idea, and he like whispers it in her ear, and she goes, can you do that? Aren't you a monk? And he goes, technically, I'm a friar. And they're just like,
And
and
she
they like run
knows what
off.
the difference is. Like, oh.
She's like, okay, cool. And then like they go off and, do the horizontal tango. And like he wakes up and like he's looking at like this painting of like he gets up and he like looks at this painting of these like two knights. And it like comes to life, and it reveals the knights as like a vampire and a werewolf in battle. And it freaks him out, and then like he trips back and like tips over like the bed or whatever the heck they were on. Which I loved that scene. That shit was fucking funny. I was like, huh? Where am I? Oh, so they decide, Helsing and Anna decide to take Frankenstein's monster to Rome, because Helsing thinks that that would be the best place to keep him safe. So I keep on losing my freaking place.
It's the stagecoach scene.
It's the stagecoach scene. Yes. So cool, because like I'm reading, and so like I look away to gather my thoughts, and then whenever I go back to where I was reading, I lose I lose my spot. So Anna basically tells Helsing like these are the Transylvanian horses are the fastest are the fastest horses. Like they can even outrun a werewolf. So they're driving through the forest with the stagecoach, and the stagecoach gets ambushed by the brides and Falcon. And they're somewhere near Budapest. During this fight, they get to like a cliff, and people are about to fall out. Frankenstein's monster begs for freedom to save him, and he does save him. He frees him, and then trying to gain my I keep on losing my train of thought. And then like the stagecoach is on fire, which freaks out Frankenstein's monster. During this battle, Verona and Velkin are killed. But it is revealed that Helsing has been bitten. And Illyria grabs Anna and like kidnaps her. Flies away and offers to trade her for the monster at Dracula's masquerade ball. Well, Van Helsing basically goes, yeah, so let's trade him where there's going to be a lot of people so that, he doesn't reveal who his true self is and everything in that matter, because we don't want Dracula to show off who he really is. And so she's like, okay, cool. We'll trade Anna for the monster at a masquerade ball. And Carl and Helsing go and lock the monster in a crypt as they go to this ball. But you see a hand come. It's really funny because he goes like, are you sure no one's gonna be able to move that? And he goes, only if they're like undead. And then like as they're walking off, you see like a little hand creeping out, like a zombie's hand. I'm like, foreshadowing.
Dun dun dun.
And they retrieve him. Cut to the masquerade ball. That's where my thoughts of Phantom of the Opera came in. Like I saw this and like immediately my head was like masquerade, paper faces on parade, masquerade. Like so I had to like convince myself to stop singing that song as I continued to watch it. And I was just like, a lot of these people are extra freaking playing a violin on like a ball, a waiter on a unicycle that's like fucking 5 feet off the ground. People on stilts. We got trapeze people. We have tight ropes. Like it's like a whole ass circus masquerade. And there's synchronized dancing, and Dracula is dancing with Anna and is like, I need a new bride. I need someone who's strong and beautiful, and you could be my bride. Don't we make a lovely couple? Blah, blah, blah type thing. And Helsing knocks one of the trapeze people off of their podium and basically flips through the air, falling with style, and grabs Anna. And as he grabs Anna, I think like that's whenever the undead bring in the monster, like tied to this like basically what looks like a gurney. And he's just like, oh no, like that, like he's yelling and being all upset over it. And
You should have killed me.
yeah,
Ah!
and like whenever this happens, it's revealed that everybody at the masquerade were vampires.
Plot twist.
Oh no. So they're running through and they're like and Carl's messing with that like that grenade basically. And he goes, I figured out what it's for. And they're like, run! And he goes, where? And they go, through that window! And he places the grenade down on the ground, and they jump out the window of what looks to be, like stained glass of Jesus. Mind
Yeah.
you, they also used a cross to lock up the crypt, and he's just like, we're just like doing all kinds of heresy today. He was very upset. And this grenade explodes, and it does let off a very bright light that is as bright as the sun. And you see the whole upper floor. I didn't take my nap today. I apologize. The whole upper floor lights up like it's the fucking 4th of July. And back at Anna's castle, Carl explains that Dracula is the son of Valerius the Elder, and that whenever he was killed in 1462 by the left hand of God, Dracula made a pact with the devil to live again. And Varius was told to kill Dracula to gain salvation for his entire family. But he was unable to kill his son, and imprisoned him he imprisoned Dracula in an icy fortress.
Then the devil gave him wings.
Yeah, and then the devil gave him wings. And then that's whenever they find out, like, oh, like, hey, like this map could, be where the castle is. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, well, there's like this big inscription here. Like, why don't we read it? And he goes like, oh, well, I can't finish it. There's a piece missing. And Van Helsing basically goes, huh, you mean this piece? Your father didn't have this piece. And they put it there. They read the inscription, and like this portal, well, it looks like a mirror, shows up. And they're like, well, why is there a mirror there? And then they're like, oh, well, Dracula doesn't have a reflection. And then I think it was Helsing who was like, well, what if it's not a reflection? And then put his hand through. And it basically opens a portal straight to Dracula's castle. And whenever they find the monster, he reveals that Dracula possesses a cure for the I can never pronounce that word. The curse of being a werewolf.
Lycanthropy?
Lycanthropy? I don't know.
Werewolf
Lycanthropy.
syndrome.
Thropy. Him being a werewolf. He has a cure to make him not be a werewolf no more. And the reason why he has this cure is because only a werewolf can kill him. He's been through the stake through the heart, the holy cross, the holy water, garlic, everything like that wasn't able to kill him. And it has now been revealed that only a werewolf can kill him. Don't get any ideas, Devin, for Wednesday. Because no, that's wrong. And so they find Igor, and they're like, hey, Igor, you're gonna take us to the cure. And he's like, no, I am not. And then they point, and then Helsing points the crossbow at him, and he's like, yes, I am. And Helsing tells Anna and Carl to go get the cure, and that he's gonna go rescue the monster. While they're there, they find the little place where the cure is, and freaking Anna is like, I'm gonna go first. And she walks in. Excuse me. And then Igor pushes Carl in, and then Igor closes the door, or like this like gate. And he's just all like, haha, you've been bested, bitch. And then like walks away. He didn't really say that, but that's basically what he said. And they have to try and figure out a way of getting it out. And then that's whenever Alira shows up, and they have to fight Alira, which is the last wife. The last wife alive. They get the cure. Carl has it, and then Anna stays back to fight Alira, which eventually Anna succeeds. I don't remember exactly what happens in that fight. Oh yeah, like she like gets it all dark, I think, right? Like she turns off all of the torches, and like she plays a little game of cat and mouse. And Alira basically, is monologuing. And Anna like kills her in the middle of her monologuing, and she's just all like, if you're gonna kill someone, just shut up and do it. And I was like,
I mean, I love a good villain monologue though.
Same, but Anna has a point. Like she's not wrong,
Just kill them as you're monologuing. Like do both.
I know. Anna going, you sly dog, you've got me monologuing. Dude, he was a good villain. I like Syndro. And then we cut back to Van Helsing, and he's trying to free the monster. But like I think like the last thing that he needs to unhook, he gets attacked by Dracula because Dracula like spots him in like a lab. He like sees him trying to get like free the monsters. He's like, haha, no way, and then goes and tries to attack him on the roof. And during this, I think there was like he just needed to be struck like 3 times by lightning. 2 or 3 times by lightning. And the first time it didn't fully awaken them, but it was the next time of the monster being struck by lightning that brought all of these vampire spawn to life. Dracula and Van Helsing turn into like their bestial form. So you see Dracula turn into this really ugly vampiric like anamorphic creature. And then you see Helsing turn into this big black werewolf. And they fight, and like Helsing's like, no, you can't. And tries to convince him of like how powerful that they could be if they, team together. And during this battle, they briefly return back into their like normal human forms. And that's whenever Dracula reveals to Helsing that he was the left hand of God. He was the one who killed Dracula. And he goes like, oh, what a burden it must have been to live with that sin with you, that you could have like prevented all this from happening, basically. And he goes like, I could restore your memory. Like, I could do that for you. And Helsing just goes, nah, fam. That ain't gonna happen. And he kills Dracula. After turning back into his werewolf form, obviously. After Dracula dies, obviously all of the spawn have died as well. And that's whenever Anna arrives to inject the cure into Helsing. But as she injects the cure, she dies. I think he attacks her and basically kills her. And as he's holding her in his arms, howling, he turns back into a human, mourning the death of Anna. Mind you, like before like this whole like thing like of storming the castle, they had like a spicy like kiss scene. They were like, oh, I'm gonna go in there alone. You can't go alone. I won't let you. And then just like very heavy tension and then a makeout scene. And I was just like, work. I guess, all that banter was flirting. Because there was a lot of like negative back and forth banter. Like they were talking shit to each other and they were very angry with each other. And I'm all like,
Yeah,
I
and that
guess?
one odd scene where for some reason he just has like a canister of sleep gas and he immediately knocks her out with it.
Oh,
This,
yeah.
this is before like her brother as a werewolf shows up.
Yeah.
Like
This
it
was,
came out of nowhere. I'm like, what the?
yeah,
What are you gonna do to her?
like he did that and then like put her in like this like castle. And then that's whenever like the werewolf shows up. I don't fucking know. I'm just all like, this is kind of abusive. Like, ma'am, like, straight people, are you okay?
There's odd things in this movie that don't make sense to me.
Straight people, are you okay? I'm asking. I'm just kidding.
It's like I'm asking for a friend.
I'm asking for a friend. I just need to know.
My God.
Oh yeah. So while Carl, I forgot about this part because it's not in the synopsis. Carl is running with the cure, right? and he's being chased by Igor, and I think like Igor is like zapping him with like it looks like one of those like cattle prods, you know, that's just like zap 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 zap. And I'm like, damn. That was more funny than it needed to be honest. And while this is happening, the monster, Frankenstein's monster, is trying to escape, and he's falling. Like he's falling, and he keeps on trying to catch himself on these like wires and shit. And like I think like one of the wires snaps and like is going like horizontally across this bridge that Carl and Igor are running on, and like Igor, I think Carl like either ducks or jumps over it. He dodges it, and like Igor's just like, what the fuck? And then like gets hit by the wire and gets knocked off, and he screams as he plummets to his death. And then the monster's just like hey, help me, and Carl's like, no, you're supposed to die because the church has found out about the monster and the church wants him dead because Carl told them about the monster. And Helsing's like, did you tell him about me? And they're like, no, I didn't tell him about you. So at this point, like, he's like, please save me. And he's like, no, you're supposed to die. And he goes, but I want to live. And he's just like, okay. And that's good enough reason for me. And he goes like, I'm gonna have you like swing yourself to safety. And like he loosens the wire enough to have like the monster swing into the tower where Anna and Alira are fighting, and like lands on her ass. Basically, like he just like curb stomps her. But I forgot how she like properly dies. But I know that him interfering with that fight by landing on her is what turned the tables and helped Anna like kill Alira. After Anna dies, it cuts to a scene where Van Helsing and Carl are burning Anna's body on a cliff that's overlooking the sea. And you see Frankenstein's monster like leave on a raft, and Van Helsing like walks away from like the fire that the body's burning on and like looks up into the sky, and you see Anna's like face in the ashes, and like she joins with her family, and then it zooms in on her face and she's like crying and smiling at him, and they're in heaven now. And then like a classic film, Van Helsing and Carl ride off into the sunset. And that is
Yay.
the end of Van Helsing.
Wow.
Fantastic movie. I love it.
Loved it.
10 out of 10.
Amazing.
10 out of 10. Would watch it again.
Will watch it again. I watch it like once a year. Or actually twice a year.
Oh, is that your once a year movie?
It's at least, yeah, it's my once a year movie at least.
I have a once a year anime that I watch. Like, I have to watch it. And it's always around the same time, too. Like, I always started in August for some fucking reason.
Oh, I know.
Shut up. Anime. Everybody should watch that anime.
So, thoughts on the movie?
Fantastic. Love it.
One yet?
I have some issues.
Oh,
Because
spill
there
the
were some moments
beans.
that I just would either be like, what the fuck? And other times I would lose my attention. Like when they got to the masquerade balls, like, wait, why is there a masquerade going on. Is this like all the other vampires that supposedly in the castle, or is this the village people? And then when they all reveal they're vampires, I'm like, I'm still not sure because I looked away briefly for that scene.
Oh, well, because one of the wives kidnapped Anna, and it was a deal to be made that they got let's do it in a highly populated area so that Dracula won't do anything because there's going to be a lot of eyes on him. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to have a masquerade ball and you could trade Anna for the monster there.
They
But-
should have known that was going to be a trap.
Yeah, because like it's really funny because Dracula, there's like a conversation that they have where he goes like, oh, and if I know Helsing, which I do, he's not gonna want to trade, and I'm not gonna want to trade either. Like that was literally a whole last line that he said. So he's like, I'm just luring Helsing here so I could kill him, and then I can have my cake and eat it too.
There's also that stagecoach scene where they're just when they have to jump the gorge and the bridge is out and the horses just leap over that distance. I'm like, bullshit. I'm just thinking, bullshit, that can't happen. And then the stagecoach falls off and it's like, oh no. And then the one bride looks into it, is like, oh, it's the decoy coach. Instead, there's a bomb with a bunch of silver stakes and it explodes and it freaking fills her body and wings full of stakes and she dies. And then there's the real coach, which is arriving at a distance. And I'm like, did she have to jump a gorge too? How big is this gorge? How'd she get across?
She could fly.
The horses can fly?
Oh, because you said, did she have to? I don't know.
I mean, Anna is piloting the other stagecoach.
Oh, that one, yeah.
So there's a few little things that I'm like, okay, I know it makes for a cool action scene. Like, oh, they got him with the fake stagecoach. But I'm still like, how did you get across the gorge? Because it seems like it reached across the entirety of the forest. So yeah, I personally have some issues with, I guess, continuity and how stuff happens. But I recognize that it's more of a fun movie if you don't take it all that seriously. Like when he kills the first bride with the auto crossbow and he's firing it all over the place, and then when there's that brief moment like, oh, the sun's out, we gotta hide, and then all the crossbow bolts are just they're just pelted on all of the things in the village square. Like, geez, I'm surprised no one else died from this. And then it's
They
like,
have they have a
holy
high
water.
dexterity score.
Lucky.
They dodged
And-
all of them.
And then there's like, oh, there's a little bit of holy water over in this fountain over here. So he runs over to it and dips his crossbow in almost entirely and just whips it around and kills her. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Well, you know that one drop of holy water, if you put it in unholy water, it automatically becomes holy water. Like it's been blessed. So like if you have a thing of holy water and you put it like in the whole fucking ocean, congratulations, the whole world is now holy water.
Why hasn't anyone done that?
I have no idea.
I'm sure it has, but for whatever reason, they don't acknowledge it. Because I bet you somewhere somebody dropped holy water in the ocean. I guarantee it.
Or the church has put
were the fish sinning too hard and made it into regular water again?
It's
Oh
Cthulhu.
my god.
Cthulhu.
It's
did it.
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu did it.
Cthulhu's
Cthulhu did
presence deep under the earth cancels out the effects of holy water.
Imagine.
There's our explanation.
For context, we watched Underwater as well. So
Yeah, and in that movie I said, I like short-haired girls. In this movie, I'm like, I like Kate's black curly hair and Alira's red curly hair. So
I just like women.
yeah, that's the general statement. Like fuck, man, I think I just like girls.
Like, oh man, just women. Girls are so pretty.
They're so damn pretty. And then of course the CGI stuff. It's like I'm not too upset with like the texture of the way it looks because you look at how light shines off of their skin. You're like, that doesn't look like it's actually there, but I can buy that. It's the way they move. Like if the CGI characters move in a certain way that feels unnatural, then I'm like that kind of takes me out of it.
Oh,
But I guess
my favorite CGI was that one with the body disintegrating.
mhm.
All right.
So great.
I like the werewolf transformation though, where it's like the skin is tearing and falling off.
Oh
Just
yeah,
rips the skin
I
off.
like
That's pretty
too.
cool.
I was like,
I'm like, that's
ooh,
impressive.
I might steal that.
Oh god.
And I think the best looking part was like, here's the stagecoach on fire. Oh, here's the brother's a werewolf. And because the fire obscures part of the werewolf, it does look more realistic. Like, oh, that looks convincing until he leaps away from the fire. Like, never mind.
Well, again, this was made in like 2004. So the CGI back then was actually like
Jurassic Park CGI still holds up. What's their excuse?
that wasn't even CGI. That was just that
The
was
dinosaurs were real.
yes, they were. Well, not real, but okay, so Jurassic Park, they had practical effects. They didn't have special effects. They had practical effects. These motherfuckers built fucking animatronics to for the dinosaurs. Like I mean, like they had a full ass fucking T-Rex animatronic in a warehouse, and she would come to life by herself. It scared the entire crew. And the scene where they break it, like where it broke the car and the kid screaming, that was their real reaction because that was not supposed to happen, and they kept it in the film. So no, they didn't use special effects. They used practical effects.
It's
Which is
still a
why
form
it
of special
holds up.
effect. It's just not computer generated.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
holds up to this day. Like it's still the best effects when it comes to movies. Well, from people who watch movies very, very regularly and consume it. Like they still say that Jurassic Park has the best. But I mean, like for special effects wise, like computer CGI special effects, it fits within the time frame that it came from. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to look at like video games that have the same type, like look at like the Final Fantasy movies that came, or not movies, but games that came out around that time, and their graphics, and then compare it to the movie.
At least it looks better than Scorpion King. So, what's with our rating system?
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
And you know what? It's the same guy who did Scorpion King.
It is the same guy. Oh my god. Let's do holy bombs.
Holy bombs.
Holy
No,
bombs
yeah,
or
no.
holy hand grenades.
The holy hand grenades. I might put those in the game too.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you call it as bias, but I'm giving this movie a 5 out of 5. I love it to this day.
So biased.
It is. It is. And you know what? I don't even care. It's so biased. 5 out of 5, you know?
You know,
I love this movie.
revisiting this movie after I hadn't watched it in like over 5 years, because it like the last time I watched it was with my son's father, you know? And I will have to say, I still love this movie. It's fantastic. Even the shit that's kind of like, oh, that's kind of questionable. Are you sure about that? You really want to make that? It's like this is camp, but it fits. Sometimes camp's too much. This one is just right. I'm not gonna give it a 5 out of 5, but I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 3. Just some things take me out of it, and I did lose focus a few times, but I don't think it's awful, and the CGI isn't horrendous. It did take me out a few times, but I wasn't like, gee, was the movie terrible? I've seen much worse stuff. So
I
I
I
think
think
3 is okay for me.
I think me and Zio have like a nostalgic connection to it,
Yeah.
which is why we have a higher score, to be honest. Because like
Technically speaking, I would give it like if you want to take out the nostalgia, sure, I'll give it a 3, but
yeah, same. But
it's
no,
just so camp and I love it.
nostalgia adds points.
Yeah, nostalgia adds points.
Nostalgia adds points, man.
For me, it's a perfect score. 10. It's a 5 out of 5.
Mine's not extremely perfect. There were some times where I'm all like, ooh, too much?
Oh, this movie,
Not too much?
it's not enough. It needs to go more.
I meant with like the whole like y'all were toxic for like 90% of the movie towards each other. And then you're gonna make out, ma'am.
That's the stupidness of it that I love. So fucking dumb.
I
They're
was all
like-
like, I was shook at that. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, even when Anna like lands crotch first, almost right at his face, he's like, and
Right.
then like flips her over and he's like, "Stay out of my way." Like, what?
What?
Listen, if be like Jonathan. Be like Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Jonathan from The Mummy.
Okay.
Be like him and like Rick. You know, like be like Jonathan was like he was respectable towards women, but Rick, Brendan Fraser, be more like him. Do better. He wasn't as toxic as Van Helsing was. Anyway, so the average of this movie, well, all of us combined, is a 3.166666667, or just a 3.17.
Nice. Cool. So there you go. If you want to watch this movie, it is on Peacock. Still on that note, final thoughts?
Don't kiss men who drug you and throw you in a random house.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, cool. So on that, this movie's iconic, drag, camp, gay, it's so just a homosexual was somewhere in this movie that's like, oh my God, make it a soap opera and make it extra. And they did it. And I attribute this movie to the creation of my sass. I want to be like Dracula and walk into a room and do some dramatic pose in front of a lightning storm, or just walk up a wall and be dramatic, be a
Talk
prima
about-
donna, you know?
Whine how you have no heart,
Right?
but cry that one of your wives is dead.
Right?
But then be like, I could just get another one. They're on sale at
They're on sale at Walmart.
Macy's. Oh no, a store.
At Sam's Club, they're on sale.
I gotta have a membership.
We can get them in bulk.
Oh God. Get the price of one. For the price of one, you get 3. So on that note, thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Catch us next time as we talk about, when is these episodes coming out? Are these episodes coming out at the end? These episodes are going to come out at the end of the month. So join us next time when we start in May, where May is going to be a themed month.
Oh, I haven't picked out a certain movie title for May yet.
We got time.
I have mine.
So if you want to find out what the theme is, catch us next week. Until then, Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.